Welcome to the Straight Red Card, where both hosts have both committed to playing for the U.S. national team, and neither needs a break from international competition. All right, guys, take it away.
Yeah, he may have been hitting at somebody in particular. I don't know.
You might have been. In fact, we won't even start there yet because, well, maybe we should. I don't know. I mean, it's a big deal because look at the big headline today, Brett.
It's a pretty big deal.
The Washington Post, and then everywhere, of course. But on the Washington Post, they didn't even mess around with it. They just said, and I quote, defender Timmy Chandler, I believe he likes being called Timothy now. I don't know. But anyhow, defender Timmy Chandler turns down U.S. for World Cup qualifiers. Could switch to Germany. And then you and I both had some talks with Brian Schroeder today about this. And
Yep.
because, you know, my first thought is, should we begin panicking yet? And some people say, don't panic anyhow. If he doesn't want to play for us, screw him. Right? I don't know. My thought is I kind of agree with Brian when he was on our show and said this kid is not going to be just a good player. He's going to be a great player. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people have been telling him that. And I think he actually believes that at this point, after the Euro is over, that maybe he has a shot down the line at the German team. But one thing is for sure, when Klinsmann called him up, he didn't want to play for the U.S. In what is really the the onset of the whole qualifying situation here in CONCACAF, which would, if he played one of the qualifying games, and this is a qualifying team, Klinsmann made that very clear. This is his A squad. That, these guys that are going to play these upcoming friendlies are also going to be the guys that he's going to take to qualifying. So, with that in mind, when somebody like Timmy Chandler says no to Jurgen Klinsmann, that's a big deal because it does show he's not ready to make a commitment. And we heard this same sort of, not really interested right now in international play from another guy named Nevin Subotic. Remember that guy? He kind of did the same.
I think we all remember that guy.
Yeah, he did the same. He kind of used the same tactic, which is, I'm not saying goodbye. I'm just saying I don't really want to deal with international play right now.
And it's very funny that you bring him up, Nevin up, because quite frankly, it was the exact same story. Nevin was, in my opinion, and most people's opinion, he was feeling out his options, making sure whether or not he could, qualify to play for Germany before he had to make his final decision. Yeah. I mean, you look at it this way. He said that he needs to take a break. That's fine if you really think about it. If he really needs to take a break, he needs to take a break. However, there are players who have played international games, club games, Euro games, whether it's Europa or Champions League games. There are players who have played a hell of a lot more games than Chandler has, and yet they show up day after day ready to represent the U.S. Right. I think the U.S. fans have a right to be concerned here, and in all honesty, as we talk with Brian, some of our confidence could be shaken a bit.
Yeah, I mean,
there's really only, in my opinion, there's this. We've been down this road before, and we've always talked about how U.S. fans are very paranoid, how they're always ready to jump the gun. But in this situation,
they're right to.
There's not much. There's only a couple options too. He either needs to really take a break, he's exhausted, or whatever. I don't know. I don't see how it's possible, but
no.
It's possible, but or he's looking to possibly take a look at the German national team, see if he gets any interest, and he doesn't want to be cap tied to the U.S.
No, and that's the cap tied thing. Look, when is it, or when has it been that Timothy Chandler has said no? He said no the last two times that camp or that commitment to that camp would have meant that he would end up being cap tied to the United States. And, listen, when Brian did that interview, was it last year, with Timmy, and happy to say that my mom was lucky enough to be the translator for that interview, he made it very clear he didn't want to play for Germany. Mm-hmm. But kids of that age, what is he, 18 then, 19, they changed their mind. And people, I'm sure, are telling him, hey, dude, you are, or they would do it in a German accent, or even speaking German, you are a wonderful player. You should not play for the United States. I mean, listen, somebody's telling him he's got other options and he should not commit himself yet. He's too young. He doesn't need to make the decision right now. But I tell you what, down the line, if he decides, oh, well, I guess that didn't work out. World Cup's coming up, and, I'd really like to, he starts, working the press. I'd really actually like to play for the United States. Then what do you do, Brett?
Well, depending on when it is, say if he really needed to take a break, and he comes back 5 or 6 months from now, and is ready to accept a call-up. That's one thing. However, if it's 2013, late in the qualifying round, I wouldn't accept him.
Yeah.
No, at that point, I'd be like, you know what? Tough. You can wait till next cycle, and then you can jump on board and start representing the U.S. the way you should have been in the beginning.
Right.
That's just my opinion. A lot of fans are going to be like, no, we should accept him regardless of when it happens. But then again, and Brian brought up a good point. How is this going to affect the locker room? I mean, honestly, if Chandler, tries his chances with Germany and doesn't get called up, and he decides, oh, you know what, my best chance is to go with the U.S. now, maybe I should accept a call-up. How do you think that other players are going to feel?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is, but Brett, the funny thing is, isn't this team German enough already? Anyhow, isn't this team really, in a sense, the German national team part 2? I mean, I know that's pushing it.
There's enough players on the player pool that speak German that could obviously make it feel comfortable.
Well, you've got a German coach, a German manager. You've got Fabian Johnson, Jermaine Jones, Danny Williams. And then you've got a whole host of guys that speak German. Cherundolo speaks German. Michael Bradley speaks German. Landon Donovan speaks German. Yeah.
Perhaps Terrence Boyd.
Yeah, Boyd will speak German. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, how many more guys do you need? I mean, this has got to feel like playing for Germany already. But something is going on. And I know in the past when this happened, there was always that sense that, he'll come around, He said he's committed to the United States. Well, let's listen to what he said. Or let's listen to what Klinsmann said. Klinsmann said, I had a long conversation with Timmy about where he is in his professional career and his commitment to playing international football. He's expressed his appreciation for all the opportunities we have given him, but he also feels at this point we need to take a break. It's disappointing not having him as part of the team at this important juncture of building our team, but ultimately a player must decide what is best for him. The door is certainly not closed on Timmy, but in the moment we will move on without him. Now, when Klinsmann says we will move on without him, you can't take that as like, oh boy, that's not a good, because he said that about Landon Donovan too, right?
Yeah, and that's something you've got to do too. But where did you get the footage of Klinsmann quoting that?
That is actually the quote on the U.S. soccer site. That's what he said.
I was making a joke about the accent.
Oh,
but saying actually recording. Were you at the interview? Blah blah blah.
Yeah, that was one of my better Klinsmanns actually.
No, you can't look into that last part. The fact that we're going to move on without him. You can't really look into that much.
Right.
But just the fact that, as we pointed out throughout the show, he's backed out of chance after chance.
To get capped.
First time with the Gold Cup, he claimed that the club backed him out. But then we have this now where he needs to take a break.
Yeah, and people are saying it's Nuremberg's fault again, Brett.
No.
But it's not this time.
No, it's not.
I mean, nobody at Nuremberg can, seriously, at the end of the season, can be telling him. And in fact, Brian confirmed, in fact, that couldn't be the case. There's nobody in Nuremberg telling anybody that's on the team, any of the players who have international duty, that they can't go do it now. So I just, that can't be the reason. This is Timmy's decision at this point.
Yep.
And I'm glad that he expressed appreciation for all the opportunities. He's played for us 8 times. Yeah. It's nice. But however, he's got to realize at this point he's kind of creating a PR situation for himself that's going to be hard to fix.
You know, he can appreciate all the opportunities that we gave him, and if he does end up playing for the German national team, it'll look nothing more than just the U.S. being a stepping stone.
Yeah, and
bigger and better thing.
He's got to know that U.S. fans are already kind of almost schizophrenic or paranoid about this to begin with, and maybe he just doesn't care. But here's a guy who really has improved his English. He's gotten so much better. He probably doesn't even need a translator anymore because he's confident enough. He's been working on it, and you really got the feeling that he would have, at least there'd be some ties to this team now, emotional, social ties to his teammates and this team. And Klinsmann, he's made a commitment that, but, this is really a step in the wrong direction, and we should just be really clear. Fans who think that this is not a big deal because it wasn't a big deal before, it is a big deal. This is the start of qualification. And Klinsmann, as I said, these are my guys. This is not a team I'm going to mess with much through qualifying. This is my team. So,
well, let me finish by saying that if it does actually happen and he plays for the German national team, you can surely bet that he's going to be the top of the shit list of U.S. fans.
Yes, he will definitely.
There's already a list, a decently sized list.
Rossi,
and
Sebonacks.
I'm sure as hell he's gonna top it out.
Well, at least Sebonacks.
He'll top it out.
Sebonacks, yeah, absolutely, because Sebonacks never played for the big boys.
He did, yeah. He did back out of the U.S. system, though. I was talking with Brian about that too. Brian
did.
posted about it on Twitter.
But it was early enough, right? And that's after we kind of dissed him.
Well, no, and that's going off of Brian's tweet. Sebonacks' decision was not based off of being dissed by any means. It was the fact that he had pressure from his father, and they decided that he'd be worth more money-wise if he was a Serbian national player rather than a U.S. national player.
Does that tell you something or what?
It tells me a lot.
Yeah, it's sad. Well,
we're still cheap labor is what we are.
Yeah, I'll make more money if I'm not an American, is basically what that says. And that's really sad. And then, of course, you look at the offers for Dempsey so far, and you just wonder, well, he's the third leading scorer in the English Premier League, and look at the offers. They're minuscule. Okay, maybe that has something to do with his age, but Sebonacks telling us something there that we've already reiterated many times. But okay.